Hey, everybody, welcome to the Nook. We've got another book to take a look at, sift on through, and throw a review on the table. The book I'm about to pull off the table is quite popular. You might be able to see it in the corner. You might have already read it yourself. If you haven't, get to stepping, let me tell you. Now, I remember when I began this series so many days ago that I told you this wasn't going to be like book talk. This wasn't going to be the everyday type of book review that you're going to run into on the YouTubers. All right, it's going to be a little bit different. This one as well is going to be different, but it's going to be a book that's quite popular, very much in the zeitgeist of the current era, and one that probably has popped up on Book Talk, but struck my fancy of its own accord. If you know anything about Sung Jin Woo and solo leveling, then you'll know that this book by Matt Dinniman is the book for you if you like that lit RPG genre. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking Dungeon Crawler Carl. Heart shaped boxers and donut holes included. All right? Haven't got mine on, wouldn't show you if I did. This book here, probably a masterpiece in the making. I'm just going to say it. I don't really know how else to explain it. It's that good. When I first discovered this series, I was smitten immediately. It doesn't take much to do that for me, but this was definitely one of the ones of all time. Probably, like I said, a literary classic in the making. Now, contrary to the previous video about Sirens of Titan, I have remembered the criteria for how I go over these books. So let's go over it one more time. The readability of the book. How difficult is it? Is it anything like Sir Gawain and the Green Knight? No. That's an extremely difficult book to read because it is an amalgamation of different poetry that Mr. J.R.R. Tolkien decided to combine and turn into a small book. A very good book, A Tale from King Arthur and His Knights, which leads us to our modern day knight, Mr. Carl, and his fearful cat, Princess Donut. This here novel is a thrill ride. What you step into when you step into this novel is something that you might not expect. Right before I started this book series, I had just finished Stephen King's The Long Walk. That is a book review that we'll be doing later, probably more around the time when the movie comes out to hit that sweet algorithmic bump. You know what I'm saying? I read this in the ebook fashion because it is extremely difficult to get your hands on. I only just now got my copy of number one. Just now. These are quite expensive in terms of books, but they are must haves, which is our second level of criteria. Our third, actually, our third level of criteria is should you have it on your bookshelf. The second is the lovely cover art. Is it good? Is it bad? Does it make you sad? Fourth, of course, is the plot, and fifth are the characters. So, number one, readability. Point number one, this book is a 2 out of 5 in difficulty of read. Anybody who has ever gone to high school should be capable of completing this book. If you have read at a middle school level, you should be capable of finishing this book. If you are in middle school and you read the description of Odette, you will probably find yourself with a bit of a mess on your hands, if you know what I mean. 3 out of 5 on readability. Cover art, 5 out of 5. Simple, beautiful, masterfully done. You get Carl in his pink hearts and underwear, Princess Donut, and of course, epic font. We all love epic font, and I've become to love Matt Dinniman. Let me tell you. Just an aside, Dungeon Crawler Carl has received an adaptation by Webtoons that will be coming out at a time forthcoming in the future, which I believe that you will find very pleasurable. And if you don't, just go back and read the book. Because criteria number three, yes, without a doubt, you should have this book on your bookshelf. There is no reason if you play any games whatsoever and have any inclination to read a word on a page that you should not own this book. If you have ever played a role playing game, there is no reason that you should not have this book in your hands. If you can't get the book, get it from the library. If your library is like mine and has 36 copies and all 36 are on hold and there's requests to hold them forever, good luck. Just go buy it from the store. If you can't buy it from the store, find the ebook version. You can usually get those from your library as well. You got to see it. You got to read it. You're going to want to go back and read it because only book number 7 has just recently come out. When I found these books, I read all 7 of them in 12 days. And these are long books. This is not a short book. This particular one, once you get to the epilogue, is a near 22 pages. 422 when you get to the epilogue. And you are going to want to read the epilogues in these. They're a little bit of the, on the next episode of Dragon Ball Z kind of deal, where they're going to shed a little bit of light on what's happening next. Which leads us to the plot itself. What is Dungeon Crawler Carl about? I said earlier I read this right after reading The Long Walk. And I sent my friend a message who recommended The Long Walk, and I said, I need to switch to some fiction with a little less death, I think. And I did not know how this book started. But this book starts with the complete obliteration of almost the entirety of the planet Earth. So I went from a book with a few hundred deaths to a book with a few billion deaths. And as a result, I was horrified. Horrified and intrigued. And once you are hooked on the book, you better take a look. I've used that rhyme many times, and it's going to happen again. Trust me. The accent and intonation of my voice has come back, and I think one of those isn't even a real word. This story goes over a young man with a rather lecherous girlfriend and her cat, her show cat, Princess Donut. Princess Donut, like all cats when they receive personification of some type, are complete assholes. But that's all right because we learn to love her. And learning to love Princess Donut is part of the joy of reading Dungeon Crawler Carl. You will want to finish this book as soon as you start. Again, this is a literary RPG. So what does that mean? That means that our protagonist Carl receives stats as he levels up. He receives achievements. He receives loot boxes. He receives his own crawler name, Carl. These are all very important pieces of information for the next 7 books. He has to go through a series of trials and tribulations through different floors of the dungeon, which he crawls through by being Carl. As a result of being Carl and crawling through a dungeon, he levels up. As he levels up, he realizes that things aren't always what they seem. Some people are nice, some people will kill you, some people will kill you thrice and wish that they could do it a 4th time. There are demons, there are gods, there are demigods, there are devils, there are your usual mobs, there are llamas that spit fire, goblins that tinker, and a wonderful young man named Mordecai who's been stuck in the system for a long time. And that's okay because he's your guide and he makes it so that you understand what's going on. So we're kind of segueing into the the characters section of the criteria here. So I'm just going to pause for a moment and tell you that the plot is a solid 4 out of 5. It is a very fun concept, very similar to solo leveling, like I mentioned some earlier, and as a result, very different and refreshing. The characters are 5 out of 5, and I mean it this time. I like that Kurt Vonnegut Sirens of Titan thing I pulled on you before. These characters will fall in love with you because you will fall in love with them. Because they are words on a page, they have no intimate feelings for you, but you will think otherwise because you are going to become engrossed in how you feel about them. With that being said, no matter what the other numbers were, that this is a 2 on readability and all of that stuff, this is a 5 out of 5 book, a must have book that you need to read, like I said, if you have played any RPG in your entire life. It is one that you do not want to miss. You will not want to miss the next 6 books. I am waiting very patiently for book number 8, which I hope will come out at some point in the near future of 2026. Inevitable Ruin only just got its cover, so it's not even in hardback. It was pre-published, and that was the way I read it. Originally, Matt Dinniman self-published these books, and then he got on to whatever publisher it is that actually does these now. I have no idea. I can't be asked to find it. Let's see. Ace Publishing, which is part of Penguin Random House, which, who really gives a shit? It's a book that you're going to want to read. You need to find it, put it on your bookshelf, because all 7 of these are going to have their little skulls that indicate which book it actually is on the spine. Very important. Not enough books tell you which novel it is. This one gives it away. The skulls will tell you which book you're on. So, with that being said, we're going to wrap this one up as always. This is the Nook. This is the book. Give it a look. I told you I'd use that line again. And as always, get out of my face. Remember to like and subscribe, leave that comment, tell me how you fell in love with Dungeon Crawler Carl and what it's done for you and your psyche.